Hi, and welcome to Transparent with Tina, a holistic approach for mental, physical, and spiritual well being so you can become the best version of yourself. Hi, and welcome to Transparent with Tina. I am Tina Marx, your host. Today, I'm going to be talking to Dr. Amie Myers, and we are going to be talking about pulsed electromagnetic therapy. Welcome, Dr. Amie.
Hello, Tina. Thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
I am so happy to have you here too. And we're going to just start off here before we hear your backstory, before we talk about the pulsed electromagnetic therapy. Boy, that was a mouthful. We were just talking before I actually pressed the record button, and I was asking you how you found me. And I just want to share this with everybody because it just I got chills myself when you said it. So tell me how did you find me?
So the short answer is I don't know. And that could sound a little bit idiotic, but for anybody who's studied the law of attraction or how to manifest, um, it might sound plausible. So I have discovered that using my pulsed electromagnetic field therapy mat with the brain entrainment goggles helps me get into the theta brainwave state, which I believe helps me tune into something called the field or the quantum field.
Mm-hmm.
So that all information, all knowledge, past, present, future, it's all happening there in one time. And the more relaxed that I can be and the more relaxed I can get, the more that intuition and people like you and things seem to find me. And sometimes it takes a keen eye to recognize those opportunities because they can be so different and they can be so new. But
Mm-hmm.
I've been looking for a way to recreate myself and to build a new business. And I was just playing around on my phone early one morning when I was in that relaxed brainwave state. And I don't even know how I found you.
Yeah,
You just came up. And that's one of the signs of being in alignment is when the perfect things happened at the perfect time in a way that we can't explain.
exactly. And that's exactly why I wanted to bring this up because that's how I live my life. Okay. Now, there's either resistance or non-resistance. And when you're resistance and you are in a different brainwave, because we all want to be like in the alpha, right? The beta is the normal conscious waking brainwave, and that's with rationale, that's making decisions, logical decisions, and everything else. But there's something so magical when you can get your brain to relax and be coming from a place of attraction rather than force, because I've talked about this over and over and over again on my show that we have been taught to force things to come to us, whether it's a relationship or it's job or it's money. And that's how we get into burnout. That's how we get into too much routine. There's no spontaneity. There's no fun in our lives. I mean, you know what? I just went through it myself. I mean, there's the ebb and the flow. I am not going to say that I'm this way 100% of the time, but I will say that whenever I have a guest on, the timing is impeccable because I've been off social probably the last couple days because I've been going through stuff that's been really heavy. And like last night, for example, I was in bed by 5:30. My son came in, he's like, "You're going to bed now?" And I'm like, there was so much darkness and there was so much heaviness that I couldn't watch TV. It's the only thing I could do. I felt to kind of relax myself is just shut my eyes and detach because it can get so heavy out there. Everything that's going on with the world and what we're going to be talking to today has a lot to do with this, which is 5G, the electromagnetic field, the Wi-Fi's, everything else. But before we get into that, so I'm going to stop my train of thought right there, and I want to ask you how you got involved in the pulsed electromagnetic therapy.
Again, completely by accident, Tina. Yeah. I I've been talking to you about how 5 years ago I experienced some losses that were very difficult to bear. One loss was at age 47. I'd never had a biological child, hadn't given
Mm,
birth, and I was so surprised that I was pregnant at 47. I wasn't
mhm.
trying. And my inner dialogue was, oh, I knew God wouldn't let my life end without this happening.
Without
And
having a child. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, and then I had a miscarriage, and then I went straight into menopause. So that opportunity ended. But at the same
Mm.
time, I had worked extremely diligently. And I know that you have a master's in
Metaphysics.
metaphysics.
Metaphysics. Yeah.
Yeah, so you understand what it takes to do these degrees. It's not because you're smart, although it is because you have that mental energy, but it's also just a huge amount of investment in time, resources, money, opportunity cost. And I had earned my PhD, and I was discovering that the university atmosphere and academia was not something that my personal sense of integrity could tolerate. There's actually a lot
Hmm.
of corruption involved, and I just was, it was a very slow series of awakenings and realizations. This wasn't for me. So in a way, everything that I thought I had worked for, or maybe that I could wish for, it was departing. And
Mm.
I desperately was seeking some solace, and I turned to meditation, and I abandoned it because after trying and trying, I couldn't feel anything. Um,
Yeah, I want to talk about that for a minute because I do struggle with meditation. I mean, if it's a guided meditation, but
yeah.
just closing my eyes for 20 minutes, I've always said this, and I know I'm not alone. People are, I'm doing it wrong. I can't access it. I can't get to that place of, because I know people like, that's my favorite time of day where I can go and I can meditate and go into my inner world. And so talk a little bit more about that.
Okay. Well, you were saying, how did I get into this? But, anyways, from those losses and letting go, I stumbled upon, from needing to rent a different place, I stumbled upon a couple that was deeply involved in pulsed electromagnetic field therapy. And that's how I started learning about it. It was completely by accident. But anyway, I'm delighted and not surprised that you would be transparent about some challenges that you might be facing with meditation, because I think it might even be something that is taboo to talk about. I
Mhm.
just can't get into that meditative state, or I can't relax because people feel like they should be able to, or they don't have enough information about the realities of what is impairing our brains and our
Mhm.
cells and our bodies from relaxing. And right now, our planet is being bombarded with very fast frequencies. So our
Yes.
brains and our cells have something called a frequency following response.
A
FF,
frequency, frequency what?
frequency following response.
Okay.
So I'm going to compare this to a radio in a car. So when you're on a road trip and you're driving in your car, you will lose radio stations as you move out of a geographical area that has certain frequencies. So you're driving, let's say 100 kilometers. Have you experienced this where you lose a radio station?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, and then sometimes there'll even be a sign on the side of the road that says um, blah 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 station on this number FM or whatever. So you're
Hmm.
moving into an area that has different frequencies. So your radio, you can even hit scan, and the radio will scan the environment for frequencies, and it will tune into the frequencies that are in the environment. And we work similarly. So our cells are alive. They are electromagnetic. So as a lot of people know that our hearts are
So
electromagnetic.
it's the largest electromagnetic field in your body is your heart. And
Right.
most, I didn't know that until a couple of months ago, but yeah.
And
Hmm.
that's how a pacemaker works, is it stimulates the electromagnetic field of the heart to keep it on the heartbeat. And the earth also has a heartbeat. So the earth has an electromagnetic core and a north and a south pole, which are like batteries, negative and positive ions. And our cells are, this is just such a beautiful relationship that all living things have with this extraordinary planet. Um, we are designed to listen to the heartbeat of Mother Earth. And I'll get my drum. So when I do guided meditations on my pulsed electromagnetic field therapy mat, I talk about the heartbeat of the earth. And in
Hmm.
traditional indigenous cultures, the heartbeat of the earth, they knew it's real. It's
Right.
Mother Earth, and our cells and our brains tune into that. And
Okay.
these frequencies are very gentle and they're very slow. And a hertz is one cycle of energy per second. And the biological frequencies of nature move at 0 to 30 hertz per second. So that's a cycle of energy per second. So the highest is really 30. So you can even imagine that in your mind. But when we go to sleep at night and we're in the delta brainwave state, that's zero point 0.5 hertz. So our brain is going at half a cycle of energy per second, which is very, very slow. So let me ask you, Tina, what would your guess be that electricity moves at? How many hertz? How many cycles per second?
Oh God.
Any
A
guesses?
a billion. I don't know.
Actually, 60.
60. Oh, 60 hertz
Yes, so that's twice
of what are okay.
any natural frequency is. So Arthur Furstenberg writes about this in the book, a brief history, The Invisible Rainbow, a brief history of electricity and life. He writes about how when electricity was becoming the norm, which was only 150 years ago, when all millions of miles of cables electrified the earth and brought electricity into our homes, and that's our normal. But really, that was much less than 200 years ago. But there were many scientists who were saying this is far too dangerous and it's going to lead to inflammation and a host of diseases, and people won't be able to sleep, and it'll lead to depression. And there were alternatives, but there were also people who had big money to make. So hence we have these wires around us, and we have electricity in our homes, and out of an electrical outlet, if you have like a trimeter or something that you can measure the frequency with, it's like 60 hertz, which is twice of anything that.
And we're just talking about electricity. We're not even talking about the 5G.
Right, so what do you think 5G is? I'll just tell you, it's billions of hertz per second.
That's where I was getting the billions from. That's
Yeah,
what came through when you asked me the question.
it's
I just had
billions.
the wrong question.
So, so our brains and our cells have this beautiful frequency following response. I think of it as like they've got these beautiful. I don't know if you ever see a sea anemone.
That,
It's
I was thinking about that when I'm looking at your hands in the water. The like, yes,
yeah,
exactly.
they're searching for frequencies, and they are almost like if you've had a little animal that you love. I have a little pet, Lily,
Yeah.
and she depends on me to give her what's right for her to eat, the right water. She depends on that, and our cells are depending on the planet for natural frequencies. They have no defenses.
Yeah.
They have no defenses. We have no ability to see, taste, hear, touch. We have no sensory perception. Although some people are sensitive, some people can feel, and I might be one of those people because well, I tried to use a Bluetooth thing in my ear years ago, and I could feel it like it's hurting my ear. And I remember I just threw it down. I threw it out. I knew that I couldn't do, and I've never been able to hold a cell phone to my ear either because that's caused me pain. But generally, we don't have perceptual apparatus that gives us any signal that we're in peril of being exposed to these very fast frequencies that our cells are following. So to connect that to the life-saving, spiritual saving practice of meditation or yoga, and you were saying, I have trouble doing this. I think a lot of people are having trouble, or they're abandoning it like I did when I really needed solace, when I was grieving and I felt like I had nowhere to turn. I couldn't feel anything, but I was sitting in a city that had put a Wi-Fi device on the top floor. I was on the 11th floor. It was 12 stories. I was sitting on synthetic carpet surrounded by cell phone towers. And at that time, I didn't
You
understand.
didn't put it together.
I didn't have the information. And
Right.
then through those tragedies, I stumbled upon this couple who taught me about pulsed electromagnetic field therapy. And I acquired the map that I have and the brain entrainment goggles I have. And I have finally started to be able to transform my beliefs, my mentality, so that I can see results of manifesting only because I've been able to do it on my mat. And I think that I've been able to put myself into the theta brainwave state and to relax, because I can actually the machine I have, it has a biological organ clock, and I can actually program it for a theta brainwave state.
Okay.
And
Is
myself,
that what you would normally every day, or would you change it to something else? Would you
the
have
the machine that I have is I think it's very sophisticated, very elegant. I was saying to you earlier that it is approved for medical use in 6 different countries, and there's a lot of snake oil out there because people don't know. We don't have the physics background, we don't have the scientific background to be able to discern what's actually PEMF and what's actually a thing that's plugging into an electrical outlet and splicing electricity and saying, yay, we have the Schumann frequency. But part of my the Omnium one that I use and the Omni Brain that I use is it has a biological organ clock. So it gives you the frequencies for the time of day. So in the morning, it'll give you the frequencies for an alpha brainwave state, which is like 15 hertz. And then it also has several other programs for different times of day. But at night, it gives you for delta
for
brainwave
Delta
state, which is
sleep?
0.4. Yeah,
Hmm.
but it also has theta, which is 3 hertz. But you can, that's for, I think, late afternoon, but you can actually use the symbol on the tablet
Hmm.
to override and go into theta brainwave state even in the morning if you want to do your
If you
visual.
wanted to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, let's talk about something we all deal with, but never really think about. Electromagnetic radiation. Yeah, EMF. It's everywhere from our phones, laptops, Wi-Fi routers, even our smart fit fridges. And no, I'm not saying ditch your tech. I mean, who could? But I am saying you can protect yourself from unnecessary exposure with Aries Tech. Backed by peer-reviewed studies and independent testing, Aries Tech makes compact, science-backed EMF modulation devices that help reduce the effects of electromagnetic radiation on your body. Rather than blocking the EMFs, Aries Tech's products work with your own body's electromagnetic field to balance out the effect. Yes, you heard that right. Our body is made up of energy, and this works with your own energy to balance out the effects. I've got one around my neck, one on my phone, and one in my living room. And honestly, it gives me peace of mind knowing I'm doing something small that can make a big difference over time. So whether you're working from home, gaming for hours, or just scrolling your feed in bed, protect your space. Check them out at ariestech.com and use the code TINA25 for 25% off your order. That's AIRES tech.com because your body deserves better. Okay, so why don't we talk about how it works? How exactly does it work? There's
Okay.
a mat involved. There's a lot of different, I mean, I was on the website. There's a headset, right? There's, like you said,
Well,
there's like a dashboard. There's a mat. Look, there's a lot of things going on there.
yeah. Yeah. Well, it's actually not that complicated, but I remember when I first met my PEMF system that I use, I remember being like, what the heck is this? I had never heard of frequency medicine and I'd never seen an Omnium one. So it was totally new and it seemed mysterious. But now that I've been using it for a while, it's actually not that big a deal. So basically, it's just a full body mat.
Hmm.
You can lay it on your bed, you can lay it on a massage therapy table, and it has a tablet that you can use to select your cycles,
Hmm.
select the time amount of time you want your PEMF. They have quick start cycles for the morning, afternoon. There's a sleep cycle for night. There's an activate one for morning. It's actually pretty simple. And it also, this is very, very important. If you're looking at investing in PEMF, I really believe you get what you pay for. So this system is 3,500 USD, and it has a signal, a waveform generator.
A what?
Waveform.
What does that mean?
It means that it's not electricity that you're getting. If you're looking at a PEMF device that's, let's say, $750,
Yeah.
there's one on the market. It almost looks like a hair dryer and it blows PEMFs apparently, and it plugs into the wall. Well, where's the electromagnetic field coming from? It's coming from the electricity. So my device has it's called a DA converter, and it produces a triple sawtooth wave, which is the PEMF wave form.
Okay, so it's not coming from the electricity. But you do have to plug it in to you plug it in, the generator takes the electricity basically and then transforms it.
Kind of, yeah. So there's a tablet that plugs into the wall and the battery can charge. So basically, this device is portable, which is beautiful. You can take it to the pool, you can take it on the plane, you can use it in the car, you can use it in your office. So that's the tablet that charges. And then separate from that is the DA converter. I can show it to you. I have it right here. Do you want me to
Sure,
get it?
sure, absolutely.
This is the tablet I was telling you about. And
Mm-hmm.
they're the quick start cycles that
Mm-hmm.
are coordinated to the organ clock. So
Mm-hmm.
in the morning, it's activate, and it just takes like 8 minutes to get your cells into resonance with biological frequency. So it doesn't take that much time. Then
Yeah,
there,
I read on there, and is it a normal cycle 8 minutes?
no, the quick start, well, you can set the cycle for 8 minutes at whatever intensity you want. It goes up to 400, or you can pick these quick start cycles. The shortest one is 12 minutes, and then the sleep cycle, let's say, is 24 minutes.
Okay.
And here's the DA converter. Can you see
Okay.
it?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's the DA converter.
Yeah. Tell me what those are.
The relaxation cycle. So the goggles use light, color, and sound to get your brain into a frequency state, because and it's also mood conditioning. So green has a certain frequency that can create feelings of relaxation and peace. The performance cycle is a crimson color, and it's a higher intensity of the frequency, so that also is going to affect your mood and your energy level. Like
And you have these on when your eyes are closed, correct?
your eyes are supposed to be closed, but you're not going to get hurt if your eyes are open.
Right. Okay. So because the brain tap that I was telling you about by Dr. Patrick Porter, he has the red and the blue light therapy, and it's a headset and it's going into your ears. And he says what that does is it draws all the blood there, and he goes from there to your brain is the quickest way to your brain. So you get accumulation of blood there, it goes to your brain to make it work. But I didn't know about these other colors, but it makes sense. So my doctor says that we don't die from old age, we die from inflammation. And I couldn't agree more. When I found him a couple of years ago, I was not in great shape. I had a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, and he found out it was all related to my gut. Did you know that 90% of your dopamine and 90% of your serotonin are made in your gut? Okay. So I have been on all of his products ever since that day. But the ones that I want to talk to you about are the alkalizers. He's got one for coffee and he's got one for alcohol. What do? They make the beverage from acidic to alkaline, which is so important because if your body is too acidic, it is a breeding ground for disease. So you want to keep your body in an alkaline balance. So with the coffee, it comes either for black coffee or it comes flavored as a creamer. I love the flavored ones. Vanilla is my favorite, but I also love the hazelnut. They're all delicious. One scoop, and it does not break your fast for one. It changes your coffee from acidic to alkaline, which you don't have to feel guilty about drinking coffee anymore. And the one for alcohol does the same thing. 5 drops into any alcoholic beverage, and it will make it from acidic to alkaline, meaning no hangover. It doesn't change the taste, it doesn't change the color, and best of all, it doesn't change the buzz. You can still drink and enjoy yourself, all the while knowing that you're not causing inflammation in your body. So go to www.getoffyouracid.com and use the promo code Tina Marx 20. Again, that's www.getoffyouracid.com. Use the promo code Tina Marx 20. It makes sense. It makes sense. Now, is there sound coming out of the headset too? Is
Yeah,
it binaural beats?
Binaural
Yeah.
beats.
See, yeah. This I was telling you before we came on, I said, I have a feeling this is all my gadgets in one, right? Because the brain tap does the binaural beats, but he also is speaking to you, which is like I just say it's like being hypnotized. So the binaural beats relaxes your brain in order to be in a meditative state, to relax the brain, to take the information in. Okay. So that's basically what the headset does. And then the mat, I have a grounding mat. That's completely different. All right. So tell us about how the mat works.
So the mat envelops you in a cocoon of biological frequencies,
Okay.
harmonics. So just like your brain has a frequency following response, your cells are also following frequencies. We have this beautiful, natural, intimate connection with Mother Earth's heartbeat. And this mat replicates that. And the reason why that's important, as we were talking before about the 5G satellites and all the cell phone towers and even the routers that we have in our homes, it's a very difficult, if not impossible, to find any place on the earth that is free of these fast frequencies that our unsuspecting cells and brains are dialing into. So it's just like buying filtered water or looking out for organic food or taking care of yourself in the sun. This has this is a modern day necessity because our cells require energy to create energy and keep ourselves healthy. And we have, just like we've destroyed clean water, we've poisoned our food sources, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
We've also severed our connection to the Earth's electromagnetic field with rubber-soled shoes, vehicles, pavement. It's just incredibly difficult
Well,
for.
I'm convinced this is why everybody's getting so sick. It's in our food. It's everywhere. Like you said. I mean, you don't have to talk me into that. I had Aries Tech on, and they gave me this, and this um, again, it's not to block the EMFs. It's to help them work with your electromagnetic body. Now, this it's beautiful too, and I actually have one around my neck. Takes care of about 150 square feet, which great. You have to get them for every single room, right? If you do this, that's definitely going to help. But let me ask you a question. So when you lay on the mat, let's say for 12 minutes, that raises your electromagnetic field, correct? Then how long is the residue? Like how long does it last?
So just quickly, I don't know if the word raise is necessarily correct, but it in as little as 8 minutes, your cells will be in resonance with biological frequencies. So it's a little bit like a tuning fork,
Okay.
like the tuning fork.
Okay.
And
Okay.
you get into the same
In alignment. Maybe alignment would be a better word.
alignment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can do that in as little as 8 minutes. So if you're doing a PEMF in the morning and at night,
Yeah.
cells will be in resonance most of the time because they'll stay in that state for 6 to 8 hours.
Okay. That was my question. 6 to 8 hours is about how long it lasts.
Yeah. So it's nice if you can get one in at lunchtime, like after lunch. It's nice if you can do a PEMF 3 times a day. And
That
some
would be optimal.
Right. And some people might be thinking that's a lot, but it's not really because you can put the mat on your mattress. You can also put it on your bed frame and you can put your mattress on top of it insofar as your mattress doesn't have any metal in it and the field will rise up through your mattress and you
So
can
you could just keep it underneath your mattress, is what you're
and you can
saying.
actually set your tablet so that it will start an hour before you get up. So you can have an
Hmm.
hour of PEMF before you
Oh, so you wouldn't even be awake and it would be working for you. Wow, that's
Yes.
cool. Okay,
And then when
so
you go to
do
sleep,
you,
you can program it. So
to while you're sleeping?
you could get 2 hours of PEMF just like that. And then also it's very portable. You can take the tablet with you with the battery charged and you can do one at noon at your lunch break if you have an office job or but it's
And so when you use the mat, do you always use the goggles and the earbuds?
I do, but I think that's a personal choice. But I find that I rely on that to, well, it's basically charging your batteries, right? Because your cells work like batteries. Your cells have positive and negative ions that move across the cell membrane, and that's how your cells create energy. And when your cells are exposed to pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, the mitochondria in your cells, which produce adenosine triphosphate, they are amplified. They start to produce more energy, and the PEMFs also help your cells use that adenosine triphosphate. So I use my device many times during the day to get energy, to recharge myself. I do massage therapy on the PEMF mat, as well as stem cell essence facials. And before I see a client, it's wonderful for me to use my goggles, lay on my mat, recharge my cells, and I find that I'm able to be
But then you're
more.
going to transfer that energy. Yeah, that makes sense. When you're listening with the ear set, it's it's giving you light therapy, sound therapy. Is there any affirmations that go along with that, or is it just binaural beats and
It's color, it's
color?
light, and it's the binaural beats. And what I do is I combine that with guided meditations or self hypnosis that I access online, and that's why I'm here today talking to you. Is that through those meditations and that self hypnosis, which is in because I, I felt like a failure. I felt like I failed because my career in academia didn't work out. Intellectually, I know I didn't fail.
Right.
In fact, intellectually, I know that I was strong enough to leave a system that didn't reflect my values and that maybe wasn't ultimately expansive enough for me. I mean, where do you find spirituality or conversations like this in academia? It's becoming smaller and smaller space, I find, but emotionally, I felt like a failure. So
Hmm.
I started
Well,
doing
you
self.
felt like a failure because that's what society dictates, basically. Like,
And
why wouldn't you want to do that? You know, everybody's raised to be a doctor or a lawyer. Or, you see what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, that's why. But
and
your
also
soul, it was craving something different. You needed something different. And I think, you know, the fact that this has helped you with your meditation and visualization, you said too, right? It's helped with your, that's another hard one for me.
and
Visualization.
it may, well, there's someone named Dr. Katarina Johnson who has a podcast called the Energy Healing Podcast, and she says that we can do affirmations all we want and visualizations all we want, but she says belief follows frequency. She says until we can get in out of fight or
Mm.
flight, and that what you were talking about earlier, that linear like path that we're trying to carve out to get to our goal, our intellectual goal. So I was saying I feel like I failed because I didn't get whatever. And I completely departed. I'm on a totally different path. But Dr. Katarina Johnson says until we're able to relax, we're not going to be able to tap into our intuition,
Absolutely.
not going to be aligned with the Star Wars force, and we're not going to be attractors of possibility.
No, no, because I've spent my whole life in fight or flight. I didn't even know that I was in that. I always knew I felt like an underlying anxiety. My mom used to say two things: you feel things so deeply, and the other thing she used to say is you're so impatient. Well, when you have underlying anxiety all the time, you're going to be impatient. And that's when you miss all the opportunities that are in front of you because when you're in fight or flight, you become very tunnel vision. You don't see the opportunities and you're attached to an outcome. And that was me. And I've said this a million times, but whenever anything didn't follow the course, I mean, it was like I just came off the rails. And I noticed now because I was, you know, I even one point said, Tina, are you bipolar? What I'm not bipolar. What I realize is that when I'm in that frequency, when I use the tools and I do, you know, I do my grounding mat every day, but the more I get out in nature and I'm moving my body and all those things, I'm in a yes, I can. I walk around my house. I love life. Okay. Yesterday was very dark. I don't know. I had some things happen in the last 2 weeks, but I mean, I've never been like the way I was last night. I was just, what is happening to me? It was like, I almost feel like maybe some of the negativity is moving out of my body, creating space for light. But I know that that is no way to live, and this way of living, I've lived on both sides. I've had a taste of both sides, but to be more consistent to use this because, as you said, with everything, all the exterior things happening around us, with our food, with our water, first of all, it's overloading to the brain. I mean, it's like, what can I eat now? Every time you turn around, you can't have that now. You can't have that. Now you've got to look on your fruits and vegetables for the number 9 because if it says number 4, it's being coated with a wax that to help the fruit stay longer, and also it's basically, I think it's a carcinogenic. I don't want to speak out of alignment, but anything like that is not good for you. So your brain gets overloaded. So it makes sense that we would have to slow our brain down in order to take new information in. Because when we're not in what's the beta, no, the beta is the normal. We want to get in
Theta,
the
theta,
alpha, right?
theta, theta.
The theta. I
The
should know
brainwave
this.
state is the optimal
The
for meditation. It's 3 hertz. And actually, there's an author named John Gabriel. He's an international best-selling author of using visualization to control your weight. Apparently, he was like a 300 and some pound stockbroker, miserable, tried every diet, couldn't lose weight. And then he started visualizing weight loss, and that's when he managed to drop the pounds. But he's actually trademarked the theta brainwave state, and he calls it smart mode. And he talks to people about how before they visualize, they need to get into this trance state, this slow.
before you visualize, you can't be visualizing on a beta theta wave.
It's not visualization, self hypnosis. It's the magic that can happen for us through engaging in those practices. It's not going to happen in the intellectual mode that we've been talking about, the getting there,
Yeah,
working
yeah,
hard.
yeah.
And
No.
also, my deepest concern for people after what I've experienced of being desperate to find some kind of solace with meditation and not finding that, and then where else do you go?
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
can't connect with something greater, and you can't sit in stillness and find that peace. Where do you go when you have nowhere else to go? I have nowhere
Exactly.
to go. Well,
Exactly.
then you start,
You know where most people go? To the
then you
doctor to get anxiety medication, to get
right,
an antidepressant,
or
and
you
and
end your life,
right, exactly. And
or you wish that, and it's just a horrible,
exactly.
it's
Yeah,
a
because
horrible.
I've been there. Yeah, I've been like, I mean, I've said that before. I mean, it's like never planned anything out, but the thoughts, I mean, that's why the
Well,
show is called
most
Transparent. It's like, why am
yeah.
I even here?
Well,
This is
most of the time when people have thoughts about ending their life, they don't want to die.
right.
They want
Want an
to end.
answer.
Well, you want to end this pain that you're in. You
Yeah.
don't want to die.
Yeah.
It's actually, I have wanted to die so much in my life, and my life has, in a way, reincarnated. I have had many different lives in this one life, or so I feel. It's not that I've ever wanted to die. That impulse was actually, I think, really a positive impetus. It was that well, how does the butterfly feel when it comes out of a cocoon, or how does
Mm-hmm.
anything feel when it transforms in nature?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a death because the caterpillar has left itself behind and it is gone. So I think sometimes that impetus of like, oh, I want to die to this is actually a very positive desire to live to something
Yes, I want to die to this feeling or this. And when you are in fight or flight, I mean, because that's what really tripped me up. I'd get up, I'd wake up one morning, and I just would feel in flight or flight. And I'm going, it would be like, let's say, a Saturday. There's nothing pressing today. There's no reason I should feel this anxiety, but it's just my body, my frequency, everything was just out of whack. Hey guys, okay, let's talk skincare. For most of my adult life, I had a hate relationship with my skin. I struggled with adult acne, discoloration, large pores, psoriasis, and fine lines. I swear, all that changed when I started using herbal face food. I mean, this stuff is powerful. we're talking the world's most potent antioxidant and anti-blemish formula. And the serum is the number one anti-aging serum in the world, made entirely from 100% botanical plants. No chemicals, no synthetics, 100% all natural. Whether you're dealing with fine lines, dark spots, sun damage, rosacea, psoriasis, melasma, or just want that all day healthy glow, Herbal Face Food has your skin covered. Literally. I've been using all their products for 3 years now, and let me tell you, it's like green juice for your face, only stronger. Remember, whatever you put on your skin goes in your body. So, this is a really important point here, seeing that it's 100% all natural. Give it a try. It's got a 100% money back guarantee, no questions asked. You can check them out at herbalfacefood.com and use the promo code TINA20 for 20% off your entire order. That's herbalfacefood.com because your skin deserves the best.
And it's not, this is, if we're coming to the end, this is the one thing that I would really hope for listeners to take away is that it's not your fault.
Right.
And I think partly the people who are profiting from 5G, which nobody needs,
No.
it's not a necessity, and the people who are profiting from glyphosate in the food and illuminate and aluminum, whatever. This what they're depending on is this creed of individualism, is that it's up to the individual to be set their goals and work hard and fix themselves. I don't think that that's generally true today, although part of that is important.
Mm-hmm.
But our environment is extremely sick right now.
Oh,
And
extremely sick.
so it's
And then
not,
and then you've got social media, which is the comparison game. And why is everybody else getting ahead? And why is everybody else getting married and going on vacations? And and then that really brings your psyche down too. Let me go. I'm gonna switch directions here a little bit. So I would assume, I don't like to assume anything, but that it would help prevent disease or eradicate
yeah.
illness and disease. It has to.
Yeah. Well, in the book Invisible Rainbow by Arthur Furstenberg, which is extraordinarily well researched, he talks about how, let's say, something like diabetes, before electricity came into our homes and became the household norm, diabetes was basically unheard of.
Yeah, I believe it.
The underlying cause is inflammation.
And
And
oh, absolutely. My doctor says you don't die of old age, you die of inflammation.
yeah,
And this is one more thing that causes, yeah,
yeah.
inflammation. So it's either move to somewhere where there's no
Yeah.
5G and
You can't,
it can grow your own food. And look,
can't,
I'm illustrating something that's
yeah.
almost impossible to most people.
It is impossible. They put satellites into space that are beaming 5G onto every square inch of the planet. And that was Arthur Furstenberg's second and last book, because he died this year, was The Earth and I. And it was his quest to find somewhere on the planet that was free of these
And
extreme.
he couldn't find anything.
There's
What's his
no
name?
Arthur Furstenberg, and he's the one to go to about frequencies. His last name is First, first,
Uh-huh.
Enberg, and he
Okay.
died this year. And he was
Arthur.
actually trying to start this movement, sparking individual people in communities, so very grassroots, to lead movements of awareness around cell phones and cell technology, because he said it's the only pollution. This is because it's radio frequency radiation. Like your phone is a radioactive device. It's extremely dangerous. So it's radiation, and he was trying to spark individual people to lead these movements in their communities to turn their phones off and go back to other modes of communication, because he said it's the only form of pollution that actually is gone when you stop using it. It's actually a very simple solution.
To get
Like
rid of your phone.
the solution to getting rid of radio frequency radiation, which is probably the underlying cause of inflammation,
Yeah.
so many cancers, so many diseases, so much anxiety. I mean, why aren't people sleeping anymore? Why are
Yeah.
people so tired all the time? They've got their router. The
Do you
sun.
unplug yours all before you go to sleep?
I am caught in a tricky situation like many people are. I live in Mexico. I live in a very loud neighborhood. I hear motorbikes and dogs barking at all hours, and I depend on white noise from my cell phone. And so sometimes I unplug my router and then I can't sleep because of the noise, so I plug it back in. And but I do take shielding precautions, like my cell phone is in a rad blocker, and I try to put my router in the other room, and I have the shielding material from a company called Shielding Solutions.
Hmm. Okay, so just what they said on Aries Tech, that little jacket you have on the phone, they
Mhm.
said that makes it stronger because it's trying to reach a signal. So, because my brother had one of those or has used it for years, and they said, because think about it, it's trying to reach a signal, and you put a jacket on it, it's going to like ramp it up even more. So you might want to think about that. I don't know if that's a good solution for you.
I have never thought about that, but
Well, that's what she told me on the interview, and I thought that was genius because mine, I've just got one of their Aries texts right here on their phone, and if you see, it's on the outside. It's not under. It's on the outside. So, so people also, this is also a business opportunity for people. If anybody is looking for part time, full time, how does that work?
okay, so my mat is an Omnium 1, and the brain entrainment goggles are an Omni Brain, and it's manufactured by a company called Swiss Bionic Solutions.
Hmm.
They have 6 offices in 6 different countries in the world. So they're an international company. So they're in Canada, the United States, Germany, Switzerland, Indonesia, and Hong Kong, and they distribute their mats via direct marketing. So if you invest in a mat, they give you the business. You don't have to do anything, but you get the website. And then if you manage to sell a mat, they give you commission on like a 7 point system. So if you sell your first 2 mats, you get 6.5% of the value of the mat.
Of both of them. First, you said if you sell your first two mats, right? You get 6% commission on the
6.5%
value of both of them or each
each one. You get six for the first 2 sales you make, you get 6.5% of
on
the
each one.
of
Okay.
each sale.
Right?
Then that brings you to level 2, and it doubles.
So you would have to, by your third mat, you're making 12% or 12, 6.5. Well,
No,
six and
yeah.
a half is
So by the
13%.
third mat, you're at level 3. So the
Uh-huh.
first mat is the first credit, then the second mat's the second credit, and then the third is, so that's where I'm at. So on every mat I sell, I make 13%,
13%.
which is about 1,000 Canadian.
Okay.
So it's
Well,
not chump change. So
right.
they have the best, they have
Well,
the
and you're helping people. This is the most important.
that's the best thing. And that's why I left academia, is because integrity is so important to me. So after having my mat for 3 years, it just started, and using it started to occur to me what I could do with this business. And
What
that's
is,
why I'm here.
Amy, what is the warranty on the mat?
If you buy a mat, it is a free 3-year warranty for anything.
3 years and it's $3,000. So after 3 years, if it just stops working, you're out of luck.
No, you're not out of luck. I've actually had I think I burnt up a pair of goggles, and I had to order another pair. So if you have an issue with your mat, there's customer service. There's also the person you bought your mat from who can help you, and then you replace the part.
Has that ever
So,
happened?
hmm?
Is that ever happened? Do you know anybody that's happened to? Well, you said
No,
you
but
burn out your goggles. So what
I
happened?
I took my brain entrainment goggles to a talk here in Chapala, and I used them all night on people. I gave people like sample sessions. And for some reason at the end, after using them for hours and hours, I took them to an electrician that it was like the panel in the back had like melted. I'm not
Oh,
sure why that happened. I know
okay.
that there was a router where on the stage where I was at, there was a router right there. And it is in the user manual recommended that you use your mat in a low electromagnetic field area
Mm,
so that you're not using your mat by a
a
router.
router.
Yeah,
Okay. That's good. That's good
I
to
think
know.
that might have been why it happened,
Okay. Okay.
but I
Now,
don't know why.
and another thing is, does anybody ever buy just the mat without the goggles? Oh, they do.
There
Yeah, because
are there are many different combinations that you can explore purchasing. So there's the basic set, which is the mat, and there's an Omni pad, and the spot pad uses a different waveform, and it's great for more acute conditions. But I won't go into the science of that; it's kind of over the top. And
mhm.
then right now, for the month of September, the company has their best sale of the year on, where you can get the deluxe combo for the price of a basic set. So that means you get the Omni pad, the Omni Spot, which both use square waveforms for more acute conditions, like let's say tennis elbow or sore back that you re-injure, as well as the full body mat, as well as the brain entrainment goggles. But you can also, if you want the business, you can also buy something called the travel set, which is the Omni Pad, as well as the DA converter and the tablet for 1,099,
But
999.
without the mat.
But you can buy them out for 750 US later if you want. So if
Oh, I see.
money is an
To
issue,
get into the business, right?
yeah,
So the let's just take the mat itself without the headset, without the goggles, whatever you need, the generator, whatever. What is that by? Do you know how much that is just by itself?
basic set is 3,596 US. But right now, for that amount of money, you can get the deluxe combo until the end of the month.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
But if you want the business and you're interested in, let's say, purchasing a mat from me, that means you're in my downline, which
Right.
means you're on my team, which means that because when you sell a mat, I will also make some money.
Yeah,
So
of
it's in
course.
my interest to help you set up the business. So I love the cooperative way that the business is set up. And yeah.
Okay.
So
All
if
right. So
we
what's the best way to reach you?
probably
Email?
do you use WhatsApp? Yeah, you can email me at Dr. Amie Myers at pempwellness.mx
So it's Dr. Amie, AMIEMYERS.
at PEMF wellness.mx,
Right.
or my cell number here in Mexico, it's country code, or just if you go to my
Yeah.
website is pempwellness.mx. You
Okay,
can
there you go. And I'll put this in the notes too.
Mhm.
Pempwellness.x. What?
MX for
MS.
Mexico.
Oh,
Yeah,
MS. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
MX.
Okay,
And
so let me just
if people
see.
are interested in the business, what I've found is that the meditation industry, people writing books about it, people doing meditation, visualization, self hypnosis, is a vast,
Right.
it's endless. And I do this every day. I follow people who are teaching meditation, yoga, visualization. I do visualization. It's my passion. I hear people talking about frequency and energy and subconscious and the theta brainwave state all the time. Honest to God, I have never heard anyone talk about the dangers of 5G and the necessity in that context
Mm.
of
While they're
of
talking about all that. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's an enormous opportunity. So if there's a listener where they're thinking, yeah, this is speaking to me, this resonates with me, I can train you. This is why I'm here. I approached
Mhm.
you. I said, and this is how you grow a business. I can teach people how to do this. And I've also, in my career in academia, I taught at a business school at a university, and I also ran my own business for over 10 years. So I know how to do this stuff. I know how to coach people, and it's an incredible opportunity. I mean, once you
Yeah.
get to 7 credit, you make 45% of the sale, which is like 2,500 USD.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You've got to be passionate about this for sure. And I love the way that it integrates in with the visualization and the meditation. Makes sense though. You have to slow the brain waves down. Like we're all energy. It makes total sense. I'm
So it
so,
works together.
yeah,
Building your
exactly.
business
Yes.
works together with self, and I do personalized guided visualizations to help people build their businesses. So the business actually, the mat itself is the basis for launching yourself as a successful business person in the world. If that might not be an image of yourself that you have, or it might be a stumbling block, you can use your mat to change that for
To
yourself.
change that. Exactly. Because you know what? Sheer willpower or just trying to change your mind or saying you're not going to do that again this time it doesn't work. I know we need help.
It'll
And I
maybe
and I
last
think now more than ever. Yeah.
for a short period of time, and you'll have maybe a week where it's like, oh wow, things look different. But if we're not dealing with our frequency, and if we're in that fight or flight, we're not going to be attracting these bigger opportunities that are really going to take us to a level of financial independence.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, such a pleasure having you on. I learned a lot today. It's so great meeting you. And I'm going to definitely check this out a little further. I was on there before we got on today, but I want to see like all the different parts and exactly. I think you explained it very well, by the way. So
Oh,
thank you so much. And thank you for being here. And we'll be talking soon, Amy,
thank you for inviting me. And
Dr. Amy.
if you are interested in exploring investing in one of these mats, let me know. And I you don't have to walk, you don't have to understand it yourself. I
Yep.
will explain it to you.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
just let me know if you'd like a consultation, whatever. I'm happy to meet with you again.
Perfect. Sounds great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do. And also my podcast, where you can find it on Apple, Spotify. So you guys get all these great guests that I'm bringing on to help you be your best version of yourself holistically, all naturally, because that's what we want. Okay. So thanks for listening. We will see you next week. And bye, Dr. Amy.